If we look at our society, we see very little stoic behavior. People are over emotional, weak, and always consuming. However, it wasn't always like this. Stoic men were strong men, emotionally intelligent, virtuous, and grateful. It is a philosophy that is thousands of years old, but still applicable today. So let me show you the blueprint to a good life.
Stoicism was designed to help people live their best lives possible. It is a philosophy of life that maximizes positive emotions and reduces negative emotions, okay? And the thing about Stoicism is that it can be applied in any situation you can think of. It can be applied in any moment or in any stage of life. And practicing Stoicism doesn't mean you have to read a big lexicon or study for several years. It is an immediate and practical way to improve one's strength of character and the strength of your emotional control, which is extremely important in today's day and age. Stoicism, as I said, is a philosophy that comes from ancient Greece and ancient Rome. It was founded somewhere in the early 3rd century. And back then it was one of the most famous schools because it provided and gave a very, very good way to live and a very good way to have emotional control and to limit stress and anxiety. Now you may think, okay, 3rd century before Christ, that's hell of a long time ago. However, Stoicism is applicable today. It is as relevant now as it was back then. Stoic principle could be applied 1,000 years ago, 500 years ago, now, and they will be applicable in 100 years. But now let's dive a little bit deep. Let's get to the main principles of the Stoic philosophy, okay? Now the first principle is a quote by Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoics ever. And he says, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." Now what does that mean? It's very simple. Limit theory in your life and increase action. A true Stoic is somebody that doesn't always learn and doesn't always contemplate about the theory of something. It is someone who takes immediate action, and if he learns something, he does it. So if you learn a new thing, if you read something in a book, instead of only going through the theory and only learning it, you should implement it into your own life, okay? So if you read a book and you see something that you think is very valuable, most likely you're going to forget it in a couple of days. Why? Because you're not going to implement it into your life. You're only thinking about it in the moment, but you're not taking action. I found that the key to remembering more that you read is to read less and implement more. I used to read like 30-40 pages a day, but the books kind of flew by. I didn't even know what I was reading. I didn't even know what I was learning. And I started doing this technique a couple of weeks ago, and I may read less books, but I'm learning way more than I was before. Because when I read something and I learn something, I try to implement it the same day. Now the second principle of a Stoic is don't worry about things not in your control. Many people, especially today, worry endlessly about things that they can't control. The best example, I think, is sports. Like, you're watching a team, and if they win, your whole day is great, you're feeling good, perfect. However, if they lose, your whole day is screwed. You don't want to talk to no one. Like, you don't have any control or any impact if they're gonna win or not. Same thing with the weather. If it's raining, people go outside and what the fuck is this? Is this weather? I don't want to. It's gonna rain anyhow. Instead of whining about how rainy it is all the time, you should go grind and make money so you can leave that place and go to a country or another city where it's not raining all day. The Stoics would remind us daily to differentiate between things that we can control and the things that we cannot control, and focus on those things that we can control in our life, okay? So instead of focusing about your favorite sports team, focus on getting the next PR. Focus on meditating a little bit more today, or focus on implementing the things that you learn. Now the third principle is be aware of the power of consumerism. Now, living as a Stoic doesn't mean you have to live without any good, without your smartphone or without nice clothes. No. In fact, the Stoics even think that material goods are something nice, but to an extent, okay? As long as they serve happiness and purpose. They are aware of the power that consumerism has. So instead of crying that you don't have the better car or the bigger house, be grateful for the good health that you have. People nowadays are upset because they don't have the bigger house or don't have the bigger car. However, they are in perfect health and have more than most people. Now, Seneca, another very famous Stoic, would even practice days of poverty, okay? So he wouldn't eat anything and he would wear very unfashionable clothing. I mean, you don't need to do those things, but just be aware that maybe that PlayStation 5 that you want to buy isn't the best idea. Or maybe that car that you want to buy on finance for 20 grand that will put you in debt is not the best idea to buy. It will not make you happier, but investing 20k in yourself will. Now, the fourth principle is to practice gratitude, okay? So the Stoics say that instead of suffering over the things that you do not have, guide your awareness towards the things that you do have and that you're grateful for. So gratitude journal is a very good way to do this. Start with 3 things a day that you're grateful for. Tonight, before you go to bed, just pick out some piece of paper and write down 3 things that you're grateful for. And really think about that. Really think about the good things in a day. There are more positive things that we notice. Now, the next principle is excellence in character is the highest good. The Stoics think that living virtuously is more important than wealth and even health, so that they should behave and think virtuously and only focus on those things and how it can improve your excellence of character. Now, the next principle of a Stoic is they see misfortune as an opportunity. The Stoics had a very different view on misfortune than most people. They expect and know that life's going to have some mishaps, and they see them as opportunities. So as an example, if someone breaks their leg, we are always like, why me? Why is it always me? Why can't it be another person? There are so many people on earth. Why do I have to break my leg? A Stoic, however, and this is a true story, but a Stoic broke his leg, and instead of whining around, he started writing a book and being productive. He had to lay in bed for 3 months. He could have whined around all the time. He could have cried himself to death, but instead, he decided to become more productive and wrote a book. Now, the last principle of a Stoic is memento mori. And all this says is remember that you will die and that your time on this planet is limited. So do as much with it as you can and live virtuously, and think to yourself, if you would die tomorrow, would you be okay with that? Not if you would want that, but would you be okay with dying? We probably aren't. I am not. If not, what are the things that you want to do? Are there any people in your life that you hold grudges towards? Are there any new things that you want to start? New sports, new hobbies? Think about that. Because as the Stoics say, your life on this planet is limited. So we should do as much with it as we can. So memento mori is the 7th and last principle of a Stoic. And I think that if you and I implement all of these 7 principles, our quality of life will skyrocket. See you in the next one.